Alright guys, welcome back for a new video about puzzles. This one is a pretty cool puzzle. Obviously it's a cube and it's called the Mefferts Mosaic Cube. Obviously it's made by Mefferts and it's a pretty awesome to play with. And first of all, when you look at it the first time you are like, how the hell is this supposed to move around? Well, it's not easy, I have to admit that. Obviously, the lines are not straight lines. They are in angles, multiple different angles. So it's a pretty difficult cube to understand just by looking at it. So how about we jump onto the size comparison? And I don't have my Rubik's cube with me, the one I use usually. And I have this, which has been laying around my house for years now. It's a crappy cube that you can find in the dollar store, you know, that type of thing. Doesn't work like crap and whatever. You know what I mean? The color scheme is not even right. Blue is supposed to be on the other side of green, and yellow and white should not be touching. Same thing for these two, and yeah, again, blue and green are not supposed to be touching, so the colors are all messed up, but it's still the same size as the usual Rubik's Cube 3x3, so I'm gonna use it to make a size comparison. Mosaic Cube, Rubik's Cube, as you can see, it's just a tiny little bit taller, not a lot, like a quarter of an inch, maybe something like this. It's not a lot, but it doesn't even feel in your hand, so you cannot even feel that it's bigger by having it. Like, yeah, maybe you feel like it's bigger, but it's not that big. It's pretty easy to manage, to move around and stuff like this, so it doesn't even matter even if it's taller. There is no difference. So, size comparison, it's taller than the usual Rubik's Cube. How about the turning quality? Well, first, I'm gonna show you how it turns. Obviously, you cannot like move a face upward because, well, there's no lines that you can slide the face with onto whatever. So it's a thing that works with the corners. Just like that, you make the corners move around, which looks pretty awesome. And there is multiple layers, actually only two. So that one, which I call the first layer, and we have the second one, which is that one, just a bit bigger. You have to go just a little bit deeper to reach it. It's not a lot, but it's still two layers. Same thing on each side, so it can make the puzzle really complicated, but it's never too much complicated to solve. So turning quality, yeah, basically it turns really well. Sometimes when you turn that corner, the layer just beneath it tries to kind of turn with it. Depends on how your faces are aligned, but as you can see, it's slowly but surely turning, which is not something I like, I have to admit it, but it's not that bad. You can just use your thumb, put it here, that way that face cannot turn, and then you can go like this, and it's never gonna turn. But when you remove that thumb, it's going to just turn a little bit. So just leave your thumb here, and it's pretty perfect, I have to say. So turning quality, well, it's pretty good. And second layer, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just a little bit harder to turn because, well, it depends on different faces, different corners. I mean, you need to all be aligned properly, so it makes it a little bit like harder to turn. But the smaller corner is really easy since it depends on barely nothing else besides these corners, which it can still move around even though it's not perfectly aligned. I'm gonna give it a 7 on 10. That way, it's not perfect, but it's still pretty good. And sturdiness, the popping. Is it possible for that cube to have a piece that pops out? I don't know. I really don't know. I actually never figured out how to open it, so it's pretty hard to open. Maybe it's by pulling on this right here. I don't want to break it, so I'm not gonna try it. But it's clearly not easy to do. And it never happened to me, not even once. Never a piece popped out, which is good. Pretty good. And, well, on my standards, if it never happened, it's pretty much perfect. Yes, it could happen. Someday, it might happen. But I don't think it will. Unless I force it. But just by using it, it's not gonna happen. I'll give it a 10 on 10. That way it's pretty much perfect. And hopefully it's never gonna happen. But I don't think so. Alright, difficulty. Well, it's not that difficult. Yes, once you start turning the corners around, it gets pretty messy, just like this. So this is just the small corners I've been turning. And, well, if you start turning the deeper sides, deeper corners, it ends up being pretty messed up. Just by looking at it, you can see that, well, it's pretty ugly. It's hard to just figure out how and where to start solving this. It's pretty hard to just figure out what you should start with, but once you have it, it's pretty easy. You have to like solve all the centers first, which are not that difficult, and once you have that, personally I did not use any algorithm that I knew before. I did not even learn new algorithms, I just used my logic, so it's not that bad. I'll give it like 6 on 10. It's not easy, but it's not pretty tough. Just use your logic, and if you have previous experience with puzzles, it's gonna be pretty easy. And do I recommend this puzzle? Obviously, yes. You should buy it, but only if you are in the knowing that it's not gonna be a huge challenge. Because if you're looking for a puzzle that's gonna be hard to solve, well, it's not that one. It's not hard. It's pretty easy, so it's not a big challenge unless it's your first puzzle you want to try it. Well, try it. It's gonna be hard. If you never figure out how to do this and other kind of puzzles, this is gonna be pretty hard. But if you have experience with different puzzles and stuff, it's gonna be pretty easy. So yes, I recommend it, but it's not gonna be a huge challenge. So it's up to you. Like I said, I'll give you a link in the description below the video if you want to go buy it. Once again, you should, only if you know that it's not going to be hard. It's not a huge challenge. But it's pretty good looking. Someone looks at it, he thinks that's pretty cool, and that's what I like about this puzzle. It looks pretty impossible, but it's actually not that hard. So, I'm repeating myself now. That means I need to end this video. So guys, buy it if you want. If you don't want it, don't buy it. I can't tell you what to do, but what I can tell you is thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I will be doing another video in a few weeks, and like the video if you enjoyed that, and you can always subscribe to see more videos. So bye bye guys, thank you for watching. This cube is pretty amazing, and have a good day.